Hey guys, this is Rachel Feldman. I'm so excited to have you here today. I have somebody who was actually just saying before we interviewed that I was stalking you on Facebook in a good way, watching you on your YouTube channel, which I know if anybody needs extra inspiration beyond this, they can go to. But I remember seeing your message and really inspire people to live their dreams. Find that within. And I know for you started this business pretty early on, and now you're into like this second stage of it. But I just wanted to give you a warm welcome, Jairek Robbins, and first let you say hi to everyone, and then I'll read a little about you.
Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having an amazing day, and thank you for taking the time to tune in here. Hopefully we're just going to have some awesomeness to share with you.
Yeah, so I'll just tell people a little about you, even though they're going to get your whole cool script of who you are and all the stuff that you've done. So right now you're 30 in your 30s and a decade of performance coaching, unlocking the secrets for maximizing performance and organizational success. And just like you and I were talking about before, like you're living this. You're going out, you're speaking to entrepreneurs. You've written, this book, Live It, on really how to like achieve those results in your life. And you're also coaching people. And so, I wanted to really share this opportunity to interview you with coaches because I feel like so many coaches, wellness professionals, entrepreneurs, they want that dream. They know they have that passion inside, and they're really lacking that. How do I get to this next place in my business? So can you share with us, what do you think are those driving components that every entrepreneur must have to kind of even get started?
Sure. It's interesting. The driving components are different for everybody, but they have to know what is that piece for them of why they're really doing it. I was reading an article from Elon Musk's first wife, I think it was titled, something crazy. She was saying like what it takes to become a billionaire, and that's the new number people are aiming for.
Right,
It's like
right.
it was 6-figure entrepreneur, now it's 7-figure, and then the real crafty people go for $1 billion business. It's like, wow, that's the thing you got to figure out how to do. And the truth is, she writes something. She goes, get over whatever it is that you're trying to get out of the world and get addicted to what you're trying to give to the world. So forget about making $1 million and figure out how do you help 1 million people. And that game-changing fundamental thought is the very first shift that has to happen. And I'll say that lightly just because there's two types of people watching this, I'm going to guess. There's some people who are in the coaching business because they looked at it as a business opportunity with a lot of flexibility, with the ability to make quick money, with the ability to make a lot of money. And they say, wow, I can get into coaching or training or being a mentor, an expert or a guru, or whatever word you want to use, because those people seem to make a ton of money just talking to people all along. And I like talking to people, so why not?
Right.
There's that category. Awesome, love you, glad you're here. There's another category. The other category of people that are here are the people who are like, hey, it is my God universal, magnificent purpose on this planet to serve people. Making money is a byproduct of my service of, giving to people and serving people and loving people and communicating with people. And I'm here to just do that. And obviously I need to make money to pay the bills, but that is not even close to my number one focus. My focus is my service to the planet. And I love it so much, I will give it for free all the time, everywhere, just because that is what I was made to do. And there's those people. God bless you. I'm glad you're here. Love your ride. So there's two different worlds of thought that exist in the same conversation that are probably both watching this. And for the business people, you have to forget about your business for a moment. You got to get addicted to how you help as many humans as humanly possible. For the helpers who are here with huge hearts, who aren't really into the business side of this, but they're trying to figure it out just because they need to make some money on the side as well, you all need to get addicted to the business side of this. You all need to be like, hey, I love to help. That is never going to go away from who I am as a human being. How in the heck do I set up an automated funnel online? What are all the key components of that? How do I automate that shit so I don't have to think about it every day? And how do I have it so that literally people are having automatic, natural, real, authentic conversations with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, automatically leading them into coaching with me so that by the time they talk to me, all it is, hey, I'm ready. I've been through your 5 steps online. I can't wait to get started. Here's my credit card. When do we start?
Right.
And you get to give your gift and do what you're really, really, really talented at.
And
it's interesting. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, sorry.
Times we have to deal with This side has to learn from them and get addicted to helping. This side has to learn from them and get addicted to the business side of it.
God, I got like so excited 2 different times. I was like, oh my God, wait, oh my God, because even before we were recording this, and I kept saying, Jairek, that's it. We have to stop talking and record, because so many things we talked about. And, I think when we were talking about your site, it's that part that it's like somebody comes to your site and there's this journey that you go on your site. And, I think for a lot of those helpers, which is what I see in this world, like there are a lot of people who came to this for business. I see more the people who are like here with the helping side in the stuck place. So you and I were talking about like really getting into your business, owning both sides to it, and like building it from scratch. So you really know, what is this process that your potential client's going to go through? What are they going to see? Like, can you speak to that kind of on how you built this business from the ground up?
Sure. So to talk to this group of people who are huge helpers, they really want to serve, they really want to help, they really want to make a difference, they feel called to it, they would do it for free no matter what. Congratulations. It's a beautiful place to come from. It's a really, 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 truly magnificent place to live inside of who you are, knowing that you've identified your gift, you've identified your talent, you know how and where you want to share. The beautiful part about it is the more you give without expecting anything in the world will take care of you at some way, shape, or form along the journey, as long as you believe it and as long as you get out of your way to allow it to happen. Now, speaking in business terms for them in a way that'll help them grow, this side already gets what I'm about to say. They need a wake-up call and a kick in the face to be like, hey, open your heart. Like, people, stop just charging them ridiculous amounts of money for nothing. These people need to learn, like, believe in yourself. If you know you have a gift and talent and value to offer to this world, you got to believe it so much that you're willing to put that foot forward and charge for it and say, hey, I'm delivering this much value and I'll even deliver it risk-free. I'll give you my whole service. As long as it works, pay the price and pay what it's really worth. Don't pay pennies for what it's worth. I think the best analogy I ever heard, and then I'll tell you exactly how I built, the best analogy I ever heard was a friend of mine who was talking about sales. And he says, let's correlate sales with dating. Because most people in the service-based business, they say, here's how I'm going to start my coaching practice. I really want to charge $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever per month. Maybe that's too small for some people. Maybe that's way too big for others. I don't know what they're charging. But I want to charge, let's say, $1,000 to keep it easy. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go basically just charge people like $100 a session. And I'm going to charge my first like 50 people just $100 to get my name out there, so that everyone hears about how amazing my results are, and everyone hears how incredible my business is, and everyone wants to work with me at that point. And he said, let's equate this to dating. So let's find the correlation here. I really want to find an incredibly high-quality relationship with a human being that values me and knows my true worth, and I know their true worth, and I value them above everything. So here's my strategy. I'm just going to go date and sleep with everyone. No price whatsoever. I'm just going to show up and do it so that my name gets out there, so that everyone knows who I am in the community, so that at that moment, all the really high-quality relationships I'm yearning for come running and knocking at my doorstep. They can't wait to date me based on all the people I just dated and slept with. What's the likelihood that's even slightly going to work out? Now, most people listening to this would be like, I wouldn't touch that person with a pole. But that's how they expect their business to grow. And so what's really, really, really interesting is I realized that's how the majority of coaching schools, education programs have taught people how to get clients. And in all honesty, that's how I started getting clients in the beginning. And so I realized there's a much better way to grow, and this is how I actually grew my business. So go back to stage one, I'll tell you the whole story real quick. When I first started, the first thing I did that was probably one of the most important factors of my business growing the way it has is for 6 years I coached inside of someone else's coaching company. I coached for them, meaning it's the difference if you were a massage therapist and you went and did massage on your own, you could charge $100 an hour. Now, if you go to a massage for Massage Envy, you're going to get paid like $25 a massage. Right. They're going to charge $100 an hour.
Right.
Same equivalent. So they were charging a pretty significant number per month. I was getting paid a rather small number per session. But Here's why it was important. I learned how the systems work. I learned how they structured it. I learned their funnel. I learned how they managed clients. I learned how they took care of them. I learned every single part of the process of how a business is able to regulate, manage, and organize thousands of clients per month. And in learning all the processes, I delivered immense value for them. This is a very standard way to learn any type of business on earth. You go work for somebody, learn how it works. So I did that for 6 years. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24 years old. That's how long I stood inside of that business, delivering for them, learning from them. Now, after that, I'm now 12 years in the coaching my own, so 6 years in my own business. So 6 years ago, I decided to take a leap of faith and step out on my own. The day I started, I already had 6 years of practice in coaching individuals to get results. So I went through the first few months of learning how to coach people. I went through hundreds, if not probably even 1,000 plus clients, one-on-one, learning how to deliver and really delivering phenomenally over the time. Now, what's interesting is I had a philosophy that I think Bob Proctor now has nowadays, where he's like, I charge a very high fee, and there's one rule. You do what I say.
Right.
You don't do what I say, you're fired, and there's no refund. Dude, I like that philosophy. I'm going to burn through some clients. A lot of people don't pay attention to what you say.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then when you work for another company, you do not have that option. You can't be like, they didn't follow my instructions. Not how it works. And people who are coaches watching this who are on this side are probably like, that's horrible. So, but it's that side of you that's like, oh, it drives me nuts when they don't say it. I learned it just means you need to be more effective of an influencer and not fire your clients.
Right.
The skill I had to get better at in the beginning. Eventually I got better at it, started my own business day one. When I started my business, just to give you a framework, I'm like many other people. I was living in the front end of a house. I had 3 roommates. I had 2 curtains as my door. I started on a laptop with a phone. That's all I had. And I was working 3 jobs on the side at that moment just to pay my bills, because coaching did not magically pay the bills day one of opening up my own little business online.
Yeah.
Common story, and it's natural and normal. So day one, 0 clients, put up my website, and I put up my website. If you want to see something hilarious, I learned how to build it myself. I used, what was it?
Like Wix or Weebly?
Oh, it was iWeb.
Oh, got it.
But iWeb, it's same thing as Wix. Drag
Right.
drop, you really are. Wix is a lot better than
Oh, I know. I wish it was out there.
I didn't know how to change colors or create banners. I had no clue what that stuff was, so I wrote welcome
Right.
across the top.
Yeah.
I put a black and white picture because I thought black was dark and mysterious and cool. Not good for advertising, but I thought it was cool. There's a picture of a creepy tree on the front of my website, and there's a Jairek Robbins coaching, and there's a button that's click here to sign up. That's all it was. That's truly all it was. If you want to look at the actual site, go to Wayback Machine, Google Wayback Machine, and then type in JarekRobbins.com and go back 6 years ago and laugh at my site. So what happened is I put that website up, and I used Facebook as my marketing and Twitter. Specifically, how I used it is at the time, there weren't a whole lot of people using those platforms, and I was what Gary Vaynerchuk calls, one of the first adopters, meaning I was like, this is cool. So I jumped on there, and I just started tweeting positive quotes all day long. And they weren't even really original. I would go to positivequote.com, I'd read through it, find the ones I loved, and just retweet them. And that's it. That's all I would do. Constantly, 24/7. And anytime I was in between class, anytime I was doing something else, I was just tweeting my face off, spreading these positive quotes. People were liking them, retweeting them, quoting them, mentioning me, talking about me. And then every now and then I'd be like, hey, check out my website. I do coaching. And they're like, oh, cool. And they'd come over. Now, to give you guys a hilarious story, just to set some framework, when I first got my very first client, I remember getting an email saying, hey, I'm interested in coaching. How does it work? And I did the process I'm going to tell all of you never to do. So, again, you can watch what I did. So, you're welcome to do it. I'll show you how to improve it. But I did the process that I hate now, which is I did the first free 30-minute
Oh, I know.
phone. That's it. And it's still effective.
Right.
There's a much better strategy to do it nowadays. And you as a coach, if you're in the business mode and you're badass at sales, you should 100% doing these calls all day long.
Right.
I'm the heart-centered, I just want to give everything to everyone. I'll tell you the way to improve this. You need to hire one of these people to do them for you on a commission-only basis and get yourself as far away from that free call as humanly possible, as fast as humanly possible. Now, when you can get someone else to do them for you, the only time you're going to speak to a client is once they've already paid and they're already in and they already love you and they already signed up. Now you get to just deliver your gift. So that's the way to improve the process. Get yourself out of it, put someone else in it, commission-only sales job, give them a lucrative commission. They'll make a ton of money working with you very part-time. Great side sales job for any salesperson. How do you find them? Go buy anything. And when you find an aggressive salesperson that you really enjoy buying from, hire their ass and say, hey, here's how
That's your person.
do it on the side. Just, it's a couple calls a week, or unless you have tons of leads, but a couple calls a week, and I'll give you X percentage of whatever you sell, and you get to keep it for the lifetime of the client. So generally, if you charge, keep it easy, $1,000 a month, and you gave them 10 to 20%, or 20% is $200 per client per month. They send up 10 clients, they're going to get $2,000 a month passive income for doing nothing more but just signing those clients up for you. And that's worth it on your side, because now you got out of that role of just doing sales calls and you got into the role of just service. So for 20% of your deal, you get to now never have to sell again, and you have someone who's awesome at selling their face off on behalf of you all day long. Right. So easy way to fix it. So back then I did the call. I happened to be good at sales because there was also a unique thing that happened to me in transition to coaching. I spent 2 years on the road doing outside door-to-door sales, office-to-office sales for 2 years before starting coaching. So I got teed up really nicely. 6 years experience of coaching, 2 years experience in sales, opened my own business. I was on fire and ready to just knock down some sales. So I had the ability to do those sales calls, and I would just clean them up as fast as I could and get people right in so that I could really serve them with the skill set I was really good at. So that thought process of bringing people through the funnel, I would have them fill out a form. The reason to have them fill out the form specifically is you need to get them from the very first moment of conversation. You need to get them into a pattern where, hey, you ask them to accomplish something, they follow through and get it done. If that relationship is not formed from the first step, it won't work, because they're already showing you, I'm not going to follow your coaching. I'm not going to follow your suggestions. I'm not going to follow through on anything you ask me to do. Versus the moment you meet them, if you're like, hey, here's all I need you to do. Real quick, take 10 minutes, fill out this form, send it back. We'll go ahead and schedule our first session. You're testing to make sure that the relationship is going to form in the right way. There's also sales sides of this. Any salesperson listening to this call is like, obviously, you need them to agree with you and follow your direction. Any heart-centered person might not pick it up. In the process of sales, you need them to follow instructions. You need to be able to say, hey, fill this out. They say, okay. Now do this next. They say, okay. You need that process built in the process. So I'm trying to talk to both people. Just so you know, it's important. And I know both sides of this very well because I came from both sides of this. I have the heart. I have 6 years experience here. I have 2 years experience here. I meshed it together, and that's what caused the ramp-up process so quickly. But there was also a really key critical moment that really ramped it up in the beginning. Started my first client. 2-second recap of how that first client came in. I got an email, set up a 30-minute call, talked to him. I can absolutely deliver in what he was challenged with, which is time management, organizational skills. I showed him exact plan we would do. I showed him exactly how it worked. He loved it. He enrolled. And he said, hey, just send me the enrollment form. This was probably one of the funniest moments of my career because I remember saying, no problem, I'll email it right over. Hanging up on the phone and looking down and being like, enrollment. Right. How's that going to work? I have a family member who's heavily in this business, so I drove to their office and effectively borrowed or stole forms. Went home and typed that up as fast as I could with all my company's name and business on it. I sent it to him, he filled it out, sent it back, and I had a credit card number on that form. And then I looked down and I had a second problem. How do you get money on a credit card?
Especially back then. I mean, it's not like you have Square or Swipe these days. PayPal, nothing. Right.
That stuff did not exist. So I was like, you have to have an actual merchant account through an actual bank to get money off a credit card. So I remember Googling, like, how do you get merchant accounts? As I called a merchant processing company who only issued them to businesses. And I said, hey, how do I get one of these? And they said, well, do you have a legal business set up? And I remember like, hold on, I'll call you right back. And I'm like, how in the hell do you create a legal business? And then 20 minutes later, I was downtown at the clerical office in San Diego. I was filing the paperwork. I set up a sole proprietorship to make it super easy in the beginning. Definitely do an LLC if you're a coach, just for protection reasons. Legally. And talk to a lawyer about that. I'm not a lawyer, so definitely seek professional assistance on how to set that up properly and legally if you're watching this. But I set up a sole proprietorship just to get started immediately. Went home, called the company in Boston, called them, faxed them over the paperwork. They faxed me back the application, filled it out, faxed it back. And literally on Monday morning, we had our first coaching call set at 11 a.m. On Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, I got my access code to access my online processing payment gateway, processed the card at like 9:30 a.m. and had my first call at 11 a.m.
You know, the thing that I love about that though, and like this is even just a huge segue, is that like despite being told, oh no, you need an LLC, like that's, and you and I were talking about this before, like the difference between somebody who makes it in business. So the business person is they're like, screw that. I am going for this. But the heart person needs to say, screw that. My mission is so damn big and I have all this heart that needs to help these masses. I am going to drop everything and take my butt down to San Diego clerical office. Now we can do it online. But like back then, it's just sitting there anytime you come up against, it's not even a problem. Come up against something you don't know how to do. You just Google, figure it out, and do it. And that's what I love that you just even touched on. So
it was really important, and I eventually broke it down to a formula, and the formula is first know exactly what you want. Know your outcome. My outcome in that situation was I needed this business set up so that I could serve this client, period. Why did I want it? It's what I was made to do. It's why, I mean, I have a long list why, but to keep it simple, it's what I was made to do. It's what I was put on this planet to do. How am I going to make it happen? Here's the keyword, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. Like you gave me a laundry list of 200 things that had to happen that day. They would be done by the end of the day, not because I had all the time in the world, not because I was sitting around bored, not because I was so talented and skilled, because I didn't care what had to happen. I was going to figure it out and get it done as soon as humanly possible so that I could get started helping people. And that was the goal, and I did. And that was my first client. Now, what ended up happening was just by tweeting all day, Facebooking all day, talking about all this awesomeness in the world, spreading positive messages and quotes, spreading positive ideas, and then every now and then plugging my business online and getting people to sign up and get an intro call and get started. Through that, I built, probably like a $3,000, $4,000 a month business in the beginning, which is very nice. It's doable, especially when, my rent was $800 and I think my car payment was, like $300 or something. My overhead was under $2,000. Right. So if I'm making $3,000 or $4,000, I am winning the game of life at that moment. Super low overhead, running super tight systems, everything I'm doing myself. There's literally no other cost. I have profit even at that moment. One thing I did that was important in setting up a business is I started saving. Instead of just spending that profit on crazy stuff, if I could do it myself, I did it myself. And I would just save the money and throw it in savings. And my goal was to get 6 months of overhead set aside so that I could have more freedom to now really turn it on and take bigger risks without it actually being a risk, because I had 6 months of cash set aside, which is still something that we live by today. My wife and I still do it. Even though our overhead's massively gone up, we still save at least 6 months of cash every year from day one and January 1st. We save 6 months of cash first before we ever make big purchases to ensure that if anything goes wrong during the year, we have 6 months to figure it out before we run out of cash inside of our business. We also have that set up in our personal life. We have 2 different savings accounts, one for the business, one for self. 6 months of cash for personal stuff, 6 months of cash for business stuff. Completely set aside, which gives us a buffer that now we can go take crazy risks, and it's not really a risk. We still have a backup. So that's my process. Couple clients a month. At one point, something very unique happened. I was out there speaking to different groups and sharing my message, and something that ended up happening was I met a lady and I was speaking to a group in LA, talking about coaching, talking about performance, and this lady had her own seminars that she did that she was really talented at, and they were all about wealth for women. And she owned it, and she had this little group she built for like a few years and had a community she built up and had an email list, and she did targeted marketing, and she had a community. She was probably like 5 steps ahead of where I was in that moment of my career. And she looked at me and she said, hey, would you want to partner on an event together? I think what you offer and what I offer is complementary. And I was like, sure, this is cool, let's try it. And we said, okay, let's wrap together a package of my coaching and her training and see if we can tie it together in a way that would make sense for someone to want to grab it because it seems stupid not to. We wrapped it together. We had our very first event together, and on our first event together, I remember signing up 20 clients in a day.
Wow.
Now, 20 clients in a day is a huge number for a coach when they're a sole proprietor on their own. I was like, dang. I went from like 3 to 4 clients a month to 20 clients in a day. Now, I had a discounted price. It wasn't my full fee, but it was for the purpose of, hey, I can do 20 clients in one day, 5 months of work with these clients, already paid for in advance. Then at the end, I have the right to retain them as a client on my own. Now, instead of doing it that, we re-signed the contract. We said, let's do it again. If we got 20 clients in a day, that was awesome. Like, that solved a lot of problems in my business. So we did it again. The next time we got like 32 clients. I was like, dang, that was awesome. I wonder if we do it again if we get more. We did it again and we got, I think, another 30 clients. It was like, wow. At this point, I had 52 one-on-one coaching clients a month, which as a coach...
Right. Yeah. You just can't, you're just drained. You're just walking around on...
You wake up at 6 in the morning, you have a 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. call, you have a quick lunch, you have a 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. call. Then you get done with those, you do paperwork until like 9, pass out, wake up, do it again 6 days a week. That was my life. And at that moment, I was making way more money than I thought. I had made over 6 figures in the first 8 months of my business at that point. And so I had $100,000 that came in. I was sitting down being like, this is not what I thought $100,000 a year would look like.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was like hanging out on beaches and like life is so wonderful. I'm like, this is hard effing work. And it, I left the business with work that was probably 9 to 5 to have half days, which is 12 hours a day of work at this point. Half the 24 hours. And so I'm working my face off being like, wow, I feel drained every day right now. So the next step in that business growth was saying, okay, how do I start to there's a correlation here where how do I start raising my price based on adding more value so that I can offset the amount of clients needed to give a core business to still stay above 6 figures every year without having to be 52 clients a month. Like, what would I have to charge to do $100,000 a year at 40 clients a month? What would I have to charge you $100,000 a year at 30 clients a month? What would I have to charge to do $100,000 a year at 15 clients a month? And this wasn't so that I could go sit on the beach and be awesome, look at how cool my life is. This was so that I had more time to create more systems and processes that help more people. Because I realized I could only get to 52 people a month, and that was horrific in my eyes. Awesome because I got to help 52, horrific because I wanted to help millions. And there's no humanly possible way I was going to get to millions the way I was doing it. So I figured it out. I started offsetting and raising the price. I started downsizing the amount of clients I would have at a time. And I figured out how to get it down to I think 25 a month. So at 25 a month, it was doable where I had extra spare hours that I could use to build other parts of my business and still make enough money that it was a great business, killing it financially, killing it on that side. And that's what I did. So I raised the price, offset the clients till it equaled out, just making the same amount of money, less clients, still delivering tons of value. Now, at that point, I started focusing on how to build out the other side of my business, which is products, retreats, building out our online community, building out our network, growing our email list, doing all the other sides of an online business that would allow us to have a lot more leverage in doing what we wanted to do. And that's where that transition started to take place.
One of the things that I love that you're saying, no, not only is it very helpful, but I think so poignant today in today's world. Like when I graduated, Facebook was the only game in town. I remember saying to somebody I'm not going to start doing on Facebook. This is kind of nobody was using as a platform for business, but it was one of the few areas that you could go on and you could really get your message out there. But the thing that people, I think, in this digital world think is they come in and they see somebody else who has this huge online business. And I love that you walk through each part of that, funnel or tunnel or whatever you want to call it, because it really came from the ground up. You can't go, you can, and we talked about this even earlier before we were recording, you can go and create a business, but if you don't know those ins and outs, if you haven't had the experience of coaching somebody, there's going to be those fear traps where you may put one thing before the other in sequence, and all of a sudden you don't go through this natural phase, even though it may feel unnatural to build a business, but you don't go through that baby crawling on a floor. Then the baby pulls himself up. Then they're scooting along. It's kind of the sequence of how a healthy business gets built so you can have that lifestyle. And, I think you go back to so many amazing points, which is, that coaching was so invaluable. And it's not like that first year where everyone thinks I'm going to make X money. I love that you touched on how much you made, because my first year was painful and how many clients I was seeing.
Yeah. And the tricky part about this is an entrepreneur who does a different type of business. So an Elon Musk or Richard Branson, any of those guys, they would argue the exact opposite of what you just said. They would say you're not supposed to do it all yourself. Hire people out as fast as possible. Hire the smartest, brightest people, and then get the hell
right.
and let them build it. We're talking about a very specific type of business and a very specific industry. We're talking about coaching and a service-based business, and one that doesn't require a bunch of overhead. It doesn't require a huge investment. It can be started with zero money, if not negative money in the bank account. I started with negative $25,000 on a credit card, not even from this. It's just from racking up on stupid stuff personally at 24 years old. But I figured out how to put it together, and I built it from scratch with my own two hands. Now, the reason I wanted to, and there's an important reason behind this, the reason I wanted to figure this out on my own was so that literally, if you were to wipe my entire business out today, take away all our bank accounts, take away our list, take away our community, take away our website, take away our blog, take away everything, just scratch it, disappears tomorrow, gone, take away all our equipment. I know exactly what I need to buy, exactly how I need to set it up, exactly how we need to do it every single week, day in and day out, to build this right back, and we could probably get here in 3 months.
Well,
exactly what to do.
I mean, and
that takes away everything you talked about. It takes away the fear. It takes away the uncertainty. It takes away the unknown. And that was always a personal goal of mine. I wanted to figure out what my gifts were, internal, my trade to life, my value I could add from within who I am as a person, so that if you were to take me, put me on the other side of earth, I don't know anyone, I don't have any resources, I don't have anything except for who I am as a person and the value I can add from within. If you were to drop me on the other side of the planet, I would be able to be up and functioning and be able to add enough value to the community around me that within a month or so, I would be building and be able to deliver tons of value and have enough value left over given back to us to take care of my family and the ones I love.
And I think, what I love that you've been saying, and then I'm going to let you go soon because we wrapped so much before this. But I love that you keep bringing this back to like the basics. And I always say to people, it's real easy in today's world, especially. We have YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. I mean, every social media avenue, as well as, websites. It's real easy to not know who has built this, or to think that somebody, they had it easy. They built this whole thing. They had X, Y, and Z doing it. But I think what you bring to the table and what I talk about all the time, it's like, don't fall for that cure where somebody says, make this amount in this amount of days. Make, we were talking about this before, 7 figures, 8 figures in X, make $5,000, have an office in Paris. I've had every email come into my email box. I've talked to coaches, just like I'm sure you have, who have spent boatloads of money. And I always say, what if you just went back to, and you have an awesome video I was checking out this morning on this, like the who, the what, the where, the why, like how am I doing this, and learn those basic things so that when you tap into that fear and you go, crap, how am I going to figure out Aweber? How am I going to figure out MailChimp? How am I going to get an opt-in? Nobody came for a teleclass. That you able to say, well, yeah, that's part of business building. I'm not going to know everything else. I got to go through the blood, sweat, and the tears. And people may not show up. Maybe I didn't have the right message. So the heart feeler over here and the business person, they need to like meet in the middle, have a marriage, and say, it's going to be tough. If it were easy, everyone would do this, and there wouldn't be all these systems out like makes X money in X days. So you're going back to the basics.
The other tricky part about that, and this is something, is I'm a very positive and optimistic person when it comes to life. I am incredibly pessimistic when it comes to people selling me bullshit. And we get sold all the time. Our profiles are labeled coach and speaker and all this stuff. So we get people hitting us all the time like, are you a coach? Would you like more clients? Do you want more sales? Do you want?
Right.
I'm like, sure. See what you got. Well, do you have as many clients as you'd like right now? No, I'd always want more. Okay. Well, how much money are you making? A lot. Would you want to make more? Sure. Okay, well, you need to spend $5,000 right now to buy our magical automated fairy dust system that will deliver you millions of dollars a month like it has us. I call bullshit. And sorry for language. And are beautiful, wonderful people who don't like cussing. I apologize.
I'm from Philly. I curse a lot. It's an adjective.
The piece with that and thinking about it is I'm incredibly pessimistic when people try to sell me crap. And there are some people out there, if you're just getting started, some programs that I would recommend. They're the real deal. They're absolutely legitimate, and they absolutely deliver. There's also a handful of people that are just bullshit artists. They're targeting coaches and targeting people in this niche right now, selling them all kinds of high-ticket crap. And it's all fairy dust and smoke and mirrors. And if you look closely, I'll tell you that the secret weapon to look through marketers and comb through them to figure out who's real and what's not, watch what they're doing, not what they're saying. Meaning, go if they have such a great product in the universe, just go to their blog, opt into their stuff, and every single email they send you, copy it and make your own version of it and load it into your system. It's like, there, I just did what you're doing. It must work. And if it works, brilliant. Invest more with them. They just made you money. If it doesn't, the shit's not working. Like, they're targeting coaches only to make money off of coaches. And there's a lot of people like that. And if you read their stuff and you really start to learn marketing, you'll start to see through the crap. I just had one guy tell me, I have this automated system and all these experts are saying, start a blog and start Pinterest and start this and start this. So they can say it's going to take years to get results because that's what it really takes. Bullshit. I can get you results overnight. And here's how. Automated webinars. Automated webinars can get you money. Learning how to run a Facebook funnel too.
Yeah.
Really brilliant. It makes a hell of a lot.
But you need
Here's the
other stuff.
Foundation.
Yeah. You need the foundation.
Turn into bullshit, smoke and mirrors, just like they're turning into very quickly right now by selling that crap. Now, does it work? Yes. Is it effective? Of course. Here's the key though. You need all of it. So pick one thing you want to master and build it one at a time. One of my favorite stories, just to show the effectiveness of the long-term game versus the short-term game. He started a website called The Daily Love. If you know Maston.
Yeah.
He blogged on it for 4 years.
Yeah.
Only focused on serving other people. Only focused on helping. Daily blogs. 4 years, every day. He built that email list up to 150,000 plus people. It's much larger now, but that's where it was when he first clicked over. He went to someone who I highly trust and recommend, Marie Forleo. I don't know if you know Marie. Some people love her, some people don't. I love her. I think she's awesome. And she taught him the basics of online business building for people in this kind of industry. She taught him something important of how to charge for what he offers. He switched over. I think his pendulum shifted a bit far. He's a bit heavy on the sales side. But there's a sweet spot he'll find and come back to. That's my opinion. Some people love what he's doing. I don't just what I see from the outside. I think he'll find his sweet spot where he's now taken something that he used to just give away for free. He comes way over here where now he's like, I'll charge for everything.
Right.
I think he'll find his sweet spot where he can interweave between the two. And when he does, he took that list of 4 years building and turned it into over $1 million in revenue within 1 year. And that's beautiful. It can be done much faster than that. There was another guy named Vishen who took a blog, and all he did was review personal development products. He did it for a whole 13 months. Just every month reviewed products. Never sold a thing, never asked for a dime, just reviewed products. He built trust and credibility. People loved them. He built up a giant site in Malaysia. On month 13, he decided to have his first webinar with an expert to sell their product online. He partnered with them, did a 50% split, sold their stuff. Between month 13 and month 18, he made $1 million.
Wow.
Then 13 months blogging. That's it. 13 months blogging, building a relationship.
Building trust, building all of that.
Bucks. So the money side is easy. The effort side of building content, delivering value, building a YouTube channel, building a podcast, doing interviews like this, doing blogging every week. Consistency and doing that is the hard part. And if you're willing to do it and add real value to people, and this is important, what people want, what people need, and what they don't even know they need. Most coaches know what they need and try to sell them what they need. People don't buy what they need. People buy what they want. You got to learn how to sell people what they want and then give them what they need as well as what they want. You know, if I went to a car dealership, what do I need from a car? I don't even need a car. I need Uber. You don't need a damn car. But you go buy one that you want. And which one do you want to buy? A Porsche, a Ferrari, a Lambo, a Rolls Royce, a Mercedes, whatever the hell car, a Toyota. I don't know what car you like. But whatever car you want is the one you go buy. Not because you need it, because you want it. you got to switch your mindset on the marketing. We could probably do a whole nother call for marketing.
Oh my God. I know.
And we could break it down step by step of exactly how to do it. But the mindset here, in my thought of what we've been talking about, is go back to the basics. Go back to adding value immensely. Really, truly start with a blog if you want, or even audio is super simple. My wife and I are doing a new audio podcast where every day we're going to do 30 minutes of love and relationship talk, and we're going to have it up. It'll be under helpmefindlove.net. And we have fun building stuff like this. And, we threw up that site. My wife blogged 20 blogs in 1 month, and that site averaged 10 to 15,000 visitors per month for 6 months on its own.
But I love, it's what you and I talked about, and then we'll wrap this up. Yeah, I feel like marketing from the heart is something that is a huge topic, and it's almost like nobody really talks about that. But, what you and I were talking about earlier is really that consistency. Like before we even started, taping, I was like, okay, we're going to stop talking, because when people ask me, have I built this, from the ground up? Is this replicable? I'm like, I will tell you the same thing I did. I blogged even when I wrote shitty blogs. I had no idea how to use Facebook. All I knew with Twitter was how to connect Facebook to Twitter. That was it. And still, today I'm not like a Twitter pro, but what I did is consistently every day put in the hours. I shot YouTube videos every day, even when I stunk at doing them. And I think that's, what I love that you talked about, and it was not even scripted that we were going to talk about this. It's like building this from the ground up, the basics, and like not giving up, knowing your why, like really tapping into that, being business minded, bringing in the heart, and like wherever it's not comfortable, so what, just do it anyway. It's like it's like what you were talking about, getting the credit card. It's like if you have 10 things that need to get done so you can, go out there and do your purpose, like get the 10 things done, like no matter what.
The only other tip I'd throw out there, just because I mentioned it and people go wrong all the time here, is if you're hiring a salesperson, salespeople sell and they'd rather be on commission than salary. So if you have someone that comes to you and says, hey, pay me a couple $1,000s a month and then I'll sell for you, they're not a salesperson. They're really not. The salespeople would say, hey, I would rather have a commission and earn as much as humanly possible and go get my own leads and just generate business, because I know I can make 10 times the amount of money that way than if you paid me a salary.
That's a great point.
If you're going to go get a salesperson, commission only, 10 to 20% of your sale max, and just have them be your salesperson. I had a client who, he was in a web design business, and I recommended that option, and he made I'm not going to say it's a mistake.
He learned from it.
Because he decided to make this guy his 50% partner in the business.
Oh, wow.
That guy was really good at sales. He went out and sold. Their business went from a couple $100,000 a year web design business and SEO service to one of Inc. 500's fastest 5,000 growing companies in the country, which means they crossed over $1 million in revenue. And what happened was, so many years later, they decided they didn't like being partners. So if he would have just been a salesperson, they would have the same growth and he would have 100% ownership of it. Because he's so big-hearted, he decided to split his business and call him a partner and draw it in his half. And the truth is, if he would have just done it as a sales position, he would have been able to give him tons of revenue and tons of money as a support for growing it without having to lose half his business in the process. So that thought of hire someone to do sales, allow them to be commission only, keep them in the position of sales and help them grow, and just reward them handsomely as you grow with them. Give them great bonuses and take very good care of them.
God, you gave everyone such awesome stuff today. I mean, I want to thank you, one, for accepting the interview. I mean, it's been like awesome, like to really hear you, because anybody I know who's listening to this, like you can hear that you're so passionate about this. And so that there is like the passion in the business. And I think we covered like, kind of what you and I were talking about in the beginning, like, we can make this so complicated, but if you really like go back to these basics, but really own it, like, it's endless the possibilities that you can have. So can you tell everyone like where they can find your book, your site, social media, where to find you?
JarekRobbins.com is probably the easiest place. We start the conversation there. It has everything you need. If you want a free gift, which is how to design your absolute ideal day, which is kind of our starting point with everybody, there's a free download right on our site. You drop your name and email and it'll send it right to you. There's also some hidden bonuses in there, so free e-coaching that's hidden within those messages. So once you sign up for something, it'll guide you to it if you want to take advantage of it and test out our online coaching. There's products on there, the book's on there. It's endorsed by Deepak Chopra and Brian Tracy and all those guys, so they love it, and it's great work. It's simple. It's exactly what it takes to master yourself as a human being. And then if you're into love and relationship stuff, make sure to check out my project with my wife, which is helpmefindlove.net.
Nice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And yeah, this has just been completely like transformational for, I know, anyone who's going to watch this, because God, we touched on like 50 different things that I could even snapshot. So thank you so much, and have an amazing day.
Very, very, very welcome.
My pleasure. Take it easy, my friend.